Hi, I'm Christina and welcome to a new episode of Baking with Chickens. Today I'm going to make one of my favorite desserts of all time, a pavlova. A pavlova is a meringue dish that is crispy and light on the outside and soft and marshmallowy on the inside, topped with whipped cream and berries. This dessert is absolutely gorgeous. It's meringue, it's filled, and it should look like a beautiful ballerina skirt topped with berries when it's finished. And I will get my chickens and we will put on tutus and do a ballerina dance when it's done. Fun fact, if you are a baking nerd like me, the pavlova was named after a Russian prima ballerina, Anna Pavolva, who was the best ballerina of her time. And she traveled the world and did a world tour. And legend is that this pavlova dessert was created in honor of her during her world tour to Australia and New Zealand. And Australia and New Zealand have been arguing ever since over who was the first to create this dessert. So the first step of making pavlova is, of course, getting egg whites. I have my beautiful eggs, but the chickens who used to be laying 1 egg a day are now slowing down. So I used to get 4 eggs a day. Now I'm down to like 1 or 2 eggs a day. So I have 3 raspberry eggs and 1 butterberry egg. And those are the ones I'm gonna use today. So thank you, chickens, for our eggs that are going into a delicious dessert. So the key to any meringue is to make sure you have no fat, 0 fat and 0 egg yolks whatsoever in your bowl. I'm gonna set these egg yolks aside. In a medium bowl, I'm gonna stir together my sugar and cornstarch. Where did all the little round bowls go? Where are my bowls? Why don't things go back where they belong? Fuck. So now I'm going to whip my egg whites on high for 3 to 5 minutes until thick and foamy is what the recipe says. Keep mixer on and slowly add sugar, a spoonful at a time, while incorporating my orange blossom water and vanilla. So orange blossom water is basically, it's distilled water infused with orange blossom, so it has like a nice fragrant orange scent that's gonna flavor the meringue, because meringue otherwise doesn't really have flavor, it's just all sugar. You can find this probably at, usually, your grocery stores will have them, or the magic of Amazon and the internet. I'll drop a link below. Okay, so I've incorporated it and now I'm supposed to beat it until stiff peaks form. So this is definitely a soft peak situation in here. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit and keep going. Okay, is this a stiff peak? Yep, those are stiff peaks. See how it stands up on its own and it doesn't fall? Ta-da! So the next step here is to get all of this on here in a nice little circle and form that beautiful ballerina skirt shape. When it bakes, the outside is gonna get crispy and the inside will fall a little bit, and inside it should be like marshmallow. Into the oven it goes at 300 degrees for 30 minutes. And then I'm gonna drop it to 275 for an additional 40 minutes. And then turn off the oven, leave it in the oven to cool for an hour so that it doesn't crack. Meringue has always kind of been my enemy, and it's just, it never really works out well. So let's hope that this one works out. Pavlovas are one of my most beautiful favorite desserts. I had the best pavlova I've ever had in my entire life when I was in Portugal, in Porto. There's a place called Miss Pavlova that's like in the very back of this little store that was, it just had the most heavenly and perfect pavlovas I've ever had in my life, and I've dreamed of recreating them. So this is my first attempt. I want to open this so badly. Okay, 30 more minutes. So I wish I could show you what it looks like right now. It's cooling in the oven. There's some cracks along the side, but so far it looks pretty good. So while we wait for this to cool, I'm going to make some vanilla whipped cream to go on top of the pavlova. Whipped cream is pretty simple. It's whipped cream and vanilla extract. The key to making whipped cream is to have a chilled bowl and whisk. So I put my KitchenAid bowl and whisk in the freezer to chill it. I'm gonna go pull it out and then we'll make whipped cream. Use some sugar. Now I'm going off recipe. I think it would make it better. You have to be really careful to not over whip whipped cream, because if you over whip it, now you've got butter and there's no going back after that. Yeah, and that little powdered sugar just gave it that little extra bit that it needed. I'm gonna set this aside and put it in the refrigerator to chill until we're ready to put the pavlova together. Finally, it's done baking. Let's take it out of the oven and see what it looks like. My pavlova is out of the oven and cooled. Check it out. So here, come in for a close-up and let's take a look at this really quick. You know what, for my first pavlova and first try and kind of some sloppy, you know, smoothing work, it's pretty cool. So you can see the cracks. You see these big cracks that are here. I think nothing a little whipped cream can't cover up. This is not a perfect pavlova, but hopefully it's gonna be a delicious pavlova. So the idea is we have this crispy outer meringue shell, and inside, underneath this, should be soft and marshmallowy. So I kind of like stuck my finger in and like felt around the side, and it feels marshmallowy and good. We won't know until we cut into it, but that will be the next step after I decorate. So now I'm going to fill my pavlova. I have the vanilla whipped cream that I made. I have a sour cherry compote I made that was left over from some ice cream. I'm gonna use frozen berries, which will look pretty and they'll taste just fine by the time they defrost. I'm wearing my tutu in honor of the famous Anna Pavolva ballerina. We'll do a little ballerina dancing show with one of the chickens. They have a show prepared for you that we're gonna show you at the end of this episode. So stay tuned. But first, let's decorate this. The cool thing about pavlovas is there's really no right or wrong. You know, you just pile it high. It's also really great if you have a nice like tangy curd, like a lemon curd, passion fruit curd. It's also really beautiful and it cuts through some of the sweetness. So here is our beautiful pavlova. One thing to note about pavlovas are best enjoyed the day of. So once it's cooled, you fill it with your cold cream, fill it with berries, and enjoy it pretty much the same day, if not immediately. If I left this for the next day, it would get soggy and gross and fall apart immediately. So pavlovas are best enjoyed the day of, bring it to some friends, and enjoy. Now it's the ultimate time. Taste test. How did we do? So this is awesome. So check it out. You've got it's a little sloppy, but you've got this crispy meringue outside. You've got the soft marshmallowy, pillowy part, and then the cream and the berries. Delicious. Oh my God, it's so good. I could eat like a whole cake. It's so light, it's perfect. Crispy, marshmallow fluff. It's so worth it. So I just inhaled this pavlova. It was so good. And let me tell you what I'm eating here. So if you see this edge, this is the crispy crust. Can you hear it? It's this crispy crust. And then this little layer here in the bottom
is like the meringue marshmallow. So it's got this like marshmallow-y texture. So it's like soft and fluffy. And then the second layer up here is that vanilla cream that I piled in and on top. And then here you've got the sour cherries and all the berries I threw on. So the berries add like this tartness that balances out the sweetness of all the sugar in the meringue. So when you take a bite, it's like this mix of like sweet and tart and marshmallowy and like crispy at the same time from the meringue. It's so good. I'm really excited. This is like my first successful meringue in pavlova, and I love pavlovas.